Ruminating. As Tanis Beckham, a spectating sports approach for living with my soulmate. Today is Thursday at 5 February 2026, and here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, ruminate about a spectating sports approach for living with my soulmate if my name were Tanis Beckham. This is getting my broaching soulmate residency / ruminating about surnames where I get Beckham from my David Beckham, my soulmate David Beckham, but like my David Beckham. Okay. So in a nutshell, so this one's straightforward in coming up with this one was thinking about, I have spectated sports before, I've competed in sports, but I've also done sports coverage. So I have a playlist, sports competition footage, and I've included, I branched into like covering it, and I have these projects here on YouTube. And so this one is the in a nutshell approach here is kind of based on my content and how I come up with it and kind of how I treat projects. And I was like, there's some stuff that are like very about me, but then what I've been kind of working on is like, how do I provide balance just to a topic or a brand or something, but then make it so it's not overly about something. So like kind of pairings. And so it's like that and kind of reflecting in like analyzing, synthesizing my own stuff. I kind of came up with this. So in a nutshell, his, hers, ours, in approaching any corresponding YouTube stuffs to remember / preserve the his, hers, ours. So essentially let's say we have a list of sporting events we're interested in. What is it that we're interested in? So at that level of taking the his, we're going to spectate something. Is it his pick? Is it my pick? So hers. Is it his? Is it hers? Or is it ours? And then reflecting that in the YouTube stuffs to preserve kind of this channel. My channel is about me and my life and sharing it. And so being true to giving attribution to whose decision making was it, and making sure like my content isn't hijacked by somebody. All right, this is my channel. If they want to make a bunch of YouTube videos, they have their own channel. That's right. This isn't the right place for that. But then also being cognizant of if it wasn't my choice to choose and we're still going and I'm covering it, making sure to like preserve that it was his pick, but not, I'm not blaming the person, right? But making sure I like to be like this, to respect that, and figuring out how to do that. And so this kind of I've mentioned before, I'm not the kind of person that reads other people's texts. I just have no interest in that, or other people's emails. And just, and so in the understanding here with this is, I allow for full freedom of construction in the design / execution sense for the his of this. Similar to and in the spirit of my Michael Jackson getting our house his way. So there's kind of giving my soulmates the space they need to breathe and live and thrive, but also allowing them to have kind of full creative say in the designing and construction, that something that's theirs. So like if it's his pick, then really respecting, like, don't overstep bounds to make sure that he can flesh out like kind of what he wants. That kind of spirit. So and you go, what does that mean? Well then, so it's a my David Beckham's choice of sporting competition, or my Michael Jackson's choice of house, and the design, and like that, like what are we going to see, or what is the staircase going to be like, that kind of thing, respectively. Well then, where would the hours part of that be if I'm letting them have that same utility? How do we use it? How do we perform? How do we execute the at the time, the living, the sharing? That is the hours. So there we go. As ruminating as Tanis Beckham, a spectating sports approach for living with my soulmate.